Look who I roped into doing this.
Yes. I was not in the movie. But yeah. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Nora, how are you?
I was kind of I am kind of nervous to do this a little bit, so I wrote down the questions on my.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
My star sign is.
Yeah. First, what was it like to film Another Simple Favor Too? Uh,
That's a great question, Nora.
okay.
Um, no, I mean this was kind of the result of I've said I'd never do a sequel, and over the beginning of the pandemic, somehow Simple Favor did really well in theaters for the budget that was $20 million, and they made $100 million.
Oh wow.
Yeah, worldwide, which is lovely.
Worldwide. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but that's not a movie that normally gets a sequel, but it went to streaming and just started during the pandemic. Really took off, and then it went to Netflix after that. After the pandemic was over, and it really went gigantic. And so I was like, people were talking about it. I was like, well, maybe there's a sequel in here. And I just loved Blake and Anna so much, and it was so much fun to work with them, and I'd been obsessed with this Italian wedding that I'd seen in Vogue magazine. Yes,
Sick.
exactly. It was, yeah, it was, Giovanna Battaglia. I don't know if you know who that is. She was the fashion editor for Vogue. She married this ultra-rich hedge fund Swedish dude, and they took over all of, Capri, and I was like, "I wanna make a movie about that." And it's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And so when this came up, it's just like, maybe I can fuse those 2 things together, and
Yeah.
that's really that's really how it happened. My desperation to make a movie that was over the top glamour.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, I love a wedding in Italy. I've never been, but yeah, no, that's sick. I mean, like I saw this movie. I'm a huge fan of the first one. You know this. I love it so much. I love the whole, the brother fucker thing. But that but yeah, that's I mean it's a rated R. But I was gonna say the second one is insane. Was there a moment where you were like, this is like way too insane?
Well, it's funny because we did the first one. The story of the first one was I had a deal at Fox, and in the middle of it, Liz Gabler, who was running Fox 2000 at the time, sent us a script, said like, "We want you to produce this. We don't know what this is." It was the first Simple Favor. They're like, "We don't know if it's a comedy or drama. It's like nuts." And so I read it, and I was just like, I want to do it. This is a comedy, but it's a Hitchcockian kind of hidden within the peanut butter. There's a comedy within the peanut butter of the drama. And so I was like, I have to do this. And I mean, inside baseball, like they wanted to do it. And then at the last minute, they dropped out when we had all our funding and our crew and everything set to shoot it in Toronto. And at the last minute, Lionsgate stepped in and saved us because if we had pushed a week, I would have lost Anna because she was that they're supposed to do another movie and stuff, and they kind of saved us. So we got to make that movie. But the funny thing was when we were making that movie, both Blake and Anna kept going like, "What are we doing? Like, is this a comedy or drama?" And I was like, "Yes, just what you're doing is great. Just keep doing it." And I wanted it something that started dramatic and then kind of spun out of control because I'm a fan of old Hitchcock movies. I mean, what I love about Hitchcock movies is like thrillers. I love all I watch is thrillers. I don't watch comedies. I just love thrillers, and I love the stakes of a thriller, but I loved Hitchcock ones because they were funny at the same time. They had funny side characters, and even the lead character. North by Northwest is you're laughing as much as you're shocked at everything that's going on. And I like that, but I like when things just kind of I'm a maximalist, I really like when things go out of control, and we got really good reviews on the first one, but it was always like the ding was always like, "Oh, the 3rd act goes out of control."
Mm.
It's like, yeah, but ooh, that's the fun of it. Like, why if it just had this kind of sedate ending, to me, it would have been just kind of boring. And so with this one, it's just like, well, I don't like when sequels kind of take what you loved and then make it go crazy. But at the same time, it's like, but we do have to pay this off, and let's let it go kind of nuts.
Yeah, it went nuts. Yeah,
It did go nuts.
they're nuts parts of it. Well, what's your favorite thriller?
Oh gosh, I mean, well, I mean, I really like super tense thrillers, but I think actually my favorite ones have been recently. Like, there's a movie called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies,
Oh yeah, that one's great.
which I
Yeah.
love because it's funny. Like, the movie. This is more of a horror movie. Like Megan, I think is the one of the best comedies I've seen ever. There's a movie
No,
called
no, that's it.
Abigail that came out last year, and it's I love when movies go crazy. I love when a filmmaker, even if I go like, "That's too much," I go like, "But God bless you, you went for it." 'Cause we're as audiences, like, we look, quality is the killer of fun
Yeah, no,
sometimes.
that's what I say. Yeah, that's why
Exactly.
you watched Abigail. No, I know, I love
Exactly.
no, that's a great movie. That's the doll one. You told me to watch that movie where the girls are stuck on the pole.
Oh my god,
The
Fall.
Fall,
Have you
Fall.
seen Fall?
Yeah.
That's the I've never been more tense in my life. It's so if I have a fear of heights, so
That
that
one was
killed
really
me.
good.
But, like, to elicit that kind of an emotion out of an audience,
Yeah.
to me is catnip. Having done a lot of comedies, from Bridesmaids on, it's you're always looking for what is that thing where people are screaming and laughing at the same time, and, Bridesmaids obviously was the dress shop scene, but, like, when I did the movie The Heat, it was like when we had that scene with where Sandra Bullock has the knife in her leg and Melissa has to pull it out. Then the bad guys come back. She says, "Put it back in her leg," and she can't get it in. And people were like screaming and laughing at the same time. And I was like, "That is the emotion I want. I want all your emotion, all your primal emotions at the same time."
No, for
And
sure.
I got kind of hooked on that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, like, how do you think, how do you think, like, your own, like, I know the script has changed, right? So the script was a
Yeah.
different thing. How do you think, like, it changed, and like, what input did you have? And
Well, yeah, I mean, Jessica Sharzer, who wrote the first one, who adapted the first one. If you speaking, I never know if stuff goes out or not. The
no,
first
no.
book is good, but the book that it's based on is a different trajectory. And Jessica Sharzer, when I read the script first, and it was just like it's a page turner. And I was like, oh my god! And I was like, I'm only halfway through this, and there's been a million twists, which I love. And, so I love that she took that base material, which was really good, and turned it into something really wild. And so she came on to write the second one, and she did an amazing job with it. But what happened was we got it greenlit and everything. It was really fun, but it was kind of like a chase more where when Dante, her fiancé, he blew up in the end of the first act in a boat,
Oh, okay.
and it was like basically thought she was being framed by the mafia, and so she had to get Stephanie and go on the run.
Oh, wow.
And so they were on the run in Rome. And when I first read the script, I was like, this is so much fun because Jessica knows those voices so well. But then when we announced that we were doing it, the feedback on the internet was so, "We can't wait for this, this, and this." And I was like, "Everything you think is gonna be in this is not in this." And I don't wanna pander to a fan base, but at the same time, I don't wanna say "fuck you" to the fan base either, you know? And so it was kinda like so the writer's strike happened, we were greenlit, we were all ready to go, and then the writer's strike happened, so it stopped us, and there was just a moment to go like, "Let's all get together, let's regroup and figure out what are we missing from this." And what was missing was they were on the run, so they had to be in disguise. And so it was like, they're dressed as nuns. I was like, I don't know if anybody wants to see Emily just dressed as a nun undercover. Like, I want to see the glamour. I want to see all this fun fashion that we had in the first one. You don't want to tie it into the story. You don't want to just be pandering, obviously, to, kind of fashion porn. But at the same time, you want to make it part of the story. And so we were able to go in with Jessica and then Leda Kalgoris, who came in, and just kind of figure out this whole thing and the idea of like, oh wait, we had a triplet that we said was dead in the first one. Let's bring her back to
That
life.
was that was crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah,
That was
exactly.
I don't know how to describe that. It's crazy.
I
Yeah.
know.
That was
And that was my fault, that whole thing.
Wait,
Now,
what?
well, Lita came up with the idea of using the triplet, but then I was, full disclosure, I was an only child,
Oh
and
my god.
I was very awkward, and I couldn't date girls, and because I was just terrified of everything. And I always, like, would go in my darkest days, like, if I only could, like, clone myself, I would be the greatest, like, partner for myself ever. And so when we were trying to figure out, like, what is Charity's fucked up thing? It's like, well, no, she has a doppelganger. Like, clearly she goes, this is who I'm gonna I know how to please this person. And so that's where that came from. That scene was written in an Uber, by the way. I will tell you, on the way to dinner.
Uh,
You're welcome.
oh wow.
Please vote for us with the Emmy.
That,
Thank you. Thank you.
oh,
There
that was sick.
you
There was so much
go.
revealed in that. No, I. That's
I've been married for 30 years. I just want everybody to know that.
no, yeah, no. He didn't
Where is she? Where's
successfully
Lori?
clone
There
himself.
she is. There's my
Uh,
wife. She doesn't want to know me now.
yeah,
Exactly.
no, the second best to the clone of himself. I forgot my next question because of that answer. No, I love it so much. What was like the best piece of advice you've ever received about filmmaking? Because you are at the helm of some of my like literally favorite projects, like the Freaks and Geeks, and literally like
Thanks.
what Bridesmaids did. I think for an entire generation, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a reference in for us. You know what I mean? And so I'm such a I respect you so much. Like what is like the best advice?
Thanks.
And
I mean, I think the person I learned the most from was Greg Daniels when I was co-exec producing The Office, and I directed like 19 of them and stuff. And what I biggest thing I learned from Greg was like he would just consult with everybody. He'd like put together a cut. He'd go like, get the parking lot guy in from here, get the caterer to come in and watch this cut and see what they think. And there's that like that's why I'm so addicted to test screenings with recruited
a
audiences.
weird addiction.
It is. I'm telling you, I can't do like. First of all, any filmmakers here, friends and family screenings, they're lovely. Get rid of them. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. It's all your friends and your family.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? You're great. That was awesome. We loved it.
Yeah,
You know. But if you get a room full of 300, 500 people who are recruited off the street or out of movie theaters who don't know you, that's the rubber meets the road. And you're kind of like, I can sit there all day and go, like, this is a great joke. Oh my God, this story works so well. If they're like, we don't get it, or that's not funny, and they don't laugh, like, I can't defend it. And
Mhm.
so I'm addicted to it because to me, it takes outside notes out of the equation. Because
Mhm.
I can sit around with, look, I love studios. I have no problem with studios and
We love
executives.
studios.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We love them. But sometimes if like people are weighing in with this should be that, I'm like, well, yeah, you would do it that way, I would do it this way. But if I have an audience go like, look, they didn't laugh at that, or they go, they love that, that to me is the only thing that matters because I'm making commercial movies. I have to make money for a studio or get, on streaming. I have to get
Yeah, we love the studio.
X amount of minutes. We love
Yeah.
them. We love streaming. Thank you, streaming, for
I have it
letting us
tattooed
make
on me. I love
movies.
the studios. Yeah.
There you go. Who won a TV movie of the year last year?
Oh yes, yes.
There you go. Yeah. See,
Yes.
Quid Lady. There she
Yes.
is.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
I paid them
I know.
$25. Thank you for clapping. That's so nice. Yeah. I know.
We want that Emmy. So,
Yeah.
so it's you have to. You are in service of an audience. I'm not the painter who burns his paintings, before he dies. Like I want people to see my movies.
Right.
And if I don't make money and get eyeballs for studios or streamers or whatever, I'm out of the business.
Mhm.
But it's not like a business decision. It's I want people to have a good time.
Right.
And so that's really kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I think that you definitely are the kind of master of a good time. I was in also your a movie that you did.
Movie called Jackpot, which is
Little-
also for Emmy
A
consideration.
little
this year.
diddly called Jackpot.
There you go. John Cena and Awkwafina,
Yeah,
exactly.
that brings me. Who was your favorite actress to work with?
I think it would be it's a woman named Nora.
Oh, yeah.
Who has another
Oh,
name. I think
That's so nice. Thank you. No, thank you guys. Thank you.
Who is the best to work with, by the way?
No.
Anybody out there who's looking for an amazing cast member?
Yeah. Yeah. No, for
Your
sure.
leading lady is right here.
Yeah, no, I
Exactly.
know. No, yeah, no, no, I agree, and I feel like for the tastemakers as
Very
well.
selfless,
You
very
guys have
selfless,
taste. You guys
exactly.
know. Yeah, no, that's I love you so much, and this movie was so good. It was really a wild ride. What advice would you give to the tastemakers?
Have
I don't
good
know what that
taste.
means. I don't know. That's a closing question. I have no idea what that means.
I love that. That's fantastic.
No, I mean, yeah, they're listening though.
No, I mean, here's my like for some reason my movies in the beginning of my career critics loved and now they hate my movies for some reason.
Oh.
No, but I get hit a lot. And what my frustration is when the critical realm doesn't judge a movie for what it's supposed to be. you know what I mean? Like, this movie's clearly nuts, you know? So or in our movie Jackpot, like, there was people like, "Oh, it should have been a
It wasn't a
pol
period
it
drama
should have
like
been a
everyone said. Yeah, no,
polemic
yeah.
on the, the socio-economic, situations." It's like, no, it was just supposed to be a thing where there's a lottery where people get killed, and we just wanna do a bunch of crazy stunts.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not the king of quality. I felt like I was for a
No,
while, and then it all went away.
no,
Um, but in a way that is just kinda like I think as a filmmaker, your first, job is to entertain an audience,
absolutely.
and have fun. And the big learning lesson I had was, look, we did Bridesmaids. There's a whole scene with a woman shitting in the sink, and she's sitting in the street. We got nominated for 2 Oscars. So then you're like, okay, clearly we weren't chasing an Oscar with that one. But it's like if you just do something that you think is great and you try to put emotion in it and you make sure that it's a drama that is funny on top of it. I'm talking about comedy right now. But you plot everything out like it's a drama and have the emotions be real, the feelings be real, but then put extreme characters and extreme situations into that,
Mhm.
you can have fun. And and that's what I like. I mean, I have a movie coming out on Christmas Day called The Housemaid with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. That's based on it's much more a straight up thriller, but at the
Sounds
same
sick.
time,
It's gonna be sick. Yeah.
it's fun. It's really fun. But and it's a dark thriller, but at the same time, it's fun because it's so extreme that you're just like, okay, I'm in. That's the fun of being a filmmaker, and that's the fun of being an audience, and it's why I think I don't say I love horror. I like horror that's not cruel. I like horror that takes you to the edge. That's why I like thrillers. Takes you to the edge of safety. You're sitting in a theater, you're completely safe, and you're watching something that's very unsafe, but you're able to go like, "Oh my god, that's so much fun to take me to that edge
Mhm.
where I can laugh at this. I know it's not real. I'm not watching a documentary, so I can laugh if I want to, or I can react in a way." That's to me is the most pure experience you can have because we as filmmakers can take you through something you can't experience safely in your real life. But if you could laugh at the same time that you're gasping at it,
Mhm, mhm.
that to me is the pinnacle of what we could do as filmmakers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I also wanted to pitch you this idea where I like there's like a dog that lives in the house and like I become the dog.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
I get no information. It's like
I think it's great. We can work with
okay, all
that.
right. I'll send you an email. Yeah, thank you.
Awkwafina is
Yeah, well, the house
Rex, the
dog. Yeah,
dog.
yeah, the house
Exactly.
dog. But now you have we can work on a title.
We'll
Um,
workshop that.
if you were to make a Simple Favor 3, where or another, well, I don't know what you would call it, but like where would you have
A trequel.
the trequel? Yeah, that's there are not a lot of movies that have a trequel, right? The Godfather.
There used to be.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, The Godfather.
Yeah,
What?
jackpot,
Yes.
No, but, where would the characters go? Like, in your mind? What immediately comes to you?
Yeah, I mean, the last scene in this, which is actually shot at Trevi Fountain right before they closed it down. The little backstory on the Trevi Fountain. I was obsessed when we were in post. Was living at the Hotel Aden, and I had my morning walk, which would take me past the Trevi Fountain every morning.
Oh, wow.
And one morning, I was just like, "We're in Rome. I'm gonna put Blake Lively and Trevi Fountain, like Anita Ekberg in La Dolce Vita." I was hell bent on this, hell bent on it. And I go back to the office like, guys, I got the greatest idea. We're gonna put Blake in the fountain. And they were just like, you can't do that. All the Italians are like, you cannot do that. You cannot do it. They will not let you in the fountain. I was like, oh, come on, we're movies, blah, blah, blah. We went through 4 months of me going like, you got to make this happen. The Italian production company's like, you can't happen. They're gonna arrest you. The blah 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 blah. But then I had other Italians saying to me, "There's a word," and I wish I remembered the word. There's a word in Italian that means he or she who follows the rules, and it's an insult. Yeah, because like it basically says like go do what you're gonna do and blah blah blah. And so I was like, we're gonna do this. And poor Laura Fisher, I don't know if Laura Fisher, my producing partner, is here, but she was like, oh my god. And I took it right to the edge. And the night we showed up, I was like, oh, she's getting in that fountain, and literally the entire police force of Italy came and surrounded the fountain, and it was basically like, if she puts one toe in that fountain, you are banished
Did
from.
she put a toe in? Did
No,
she?
she does not. She
She
sits on
doesn't
the
put a
edge
toe.
of it. I gave in. I gave in. But lovely story about that. We were shooting. They had to shoot. We had to shoot for like 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. That was the only time they would close it down for us because it's always packed. If you've ever been to Rome, and there was this couple that was just kind of hanging out the whole time watching. We're like, oh, they must be fans of Blake and Anna. So we finally wrap. We're done. They go down to the front of the fountain, and he proposes to her. They were waiting the whole time to propose. I know, and I was like, oh, but then Blake went over and hugged them, and it was very sweet.
Did
So
they recognize her?
yeah, I think they did. I think
That would have been awkward if they didn't. They were like, you've done enough.
Ma'am, please get out of the way.
Yeah.
You already fucked up our whole marriage.
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, thank you for that
Thank you,
Q&A,
Nora.
and thank you for the film.
Thank
too.
you, everybody, for showing up too. I appreciate it.
And thank you for everything that you do. You're an American hero, and I love you.
Well, God bless you. You're the best.
And I love you guys. Thank you
Thank
guys
buddy.
so much.
There's
for
a
coming
party
tonight.
upstairs. Come on, let's
Party
go.
upstairs. Yeah, they have Red Bull.
There you Get ready.